What were the factors that went into tomorrow night being Devin's first game?
There were factors we spoke of prior to his arrival, getting acclimated with team and teammates, getting some practice time, building relationships, obviously lots of new relationships for him, and just making sure we knew we were putting him in. It was something we wanted to do based on his acclimation, and it feels that he's acclimated well enough that tomorrow is the right time.
What do you think has allowed him to acclimate quickly through these couple of weeks?
I think, having been in our organization for a bit is the first thing. Lots of communication before he got here, building some relationships before he got here through prospect camp. His work and his accomplishments, obviously the accomplishments that he's had at the college level are indicative of the work he's put in at the college level. So that's a major component that we feel we have a player coming out of the collegiate level that has used that time to prepare for this moment, this next opportunity, as well as anybody. So those and many other factors go into our comfort in putting him in sooner than later.
It's a obviously talented offensive team you're going to put him in against, but you defended pretty well against them the last time. I mean, how much was it just more a case of he's going to get a full day, morning skate, not travel, then, well, it's New York, did the opponent not factor that much for that reason?
I mean, I can't say it didn't factor because you're looking at it, and I don't know if it was a different opponent, if we might have said no, we'll wait a day or not. I'm not certain if that would have been the case, but you're thinking of the opponent, and I just, we feel that the bulk of the decision is based on him and him getting comfortable and acclimated. And so it happens to be the New York Rangers tomorrow, but sooner than later once you're acclimated, because he hasn't played for a while as well, and you don't want to not play him for an extended period of time if you don't have to. And we feel we don't have to at this point. He's had a couple of real good days of practice and several sessions on the ice. That's what it came down to.
Is Tage a possibility for tomorrow?
He is. Matthias is also a possibility for tomorrow. So that's good news on both fronts. That they'll probably both. We'll see in the morning, but I'm thinking game day, game time decision on either one of those guys.
What about, is Jordan progressing?
He is, and he's in that category as well. It'll be a decision tomorrow on him. But he looked great to me today, so that's a very big positive.
Devin's had a reputation as a student of the game, and I know you touched on that a little bit over the last couple of weeks, but where are the moments where you've seen that aspect of him being studious?
Just he all the time, just his attentiveness, even in meetings, questions he asks. He's very inquisitive, wants to learn more, learn different angles on situations, and you see him very well prepared for practice and for each drill in practice.
What's the challenge, Ben? You bring in a new guy even from outside or college, forward and defenseman is a lot different than getting a goalie in the middle, late in the season. How interesting has that process been, and just how much of a challenge is it, even for a top-level guy like him?
It's interesting, and it's so different. I tell you what I think. Tomorrow you go into a game and you know that 18 other skaters are well aware you have a first-time goaltender in the net, and I would think they're going to pay. We saw the guys how excited they were for Rusick the other night to score his first goal. They're well aware when a new guy comes in the lineup, and I think this being a goaltender, they're going to be more dialed in on defensive aspects than maybe they would otherwise, because they want to support him and they want to make sure they support him as a new player. Again, these guys all identify with the most memorable moment of their career, I would imagine, for all these guys is the first time they put an NHL jersey on and played their first NHL game. And so I know they have a lot of respect for that, for the next guy that, is in that situation. And I think that being a goaltender, I think you'll see, potentially a few more shot blocks and a little bit more back checking, I would say, or attention to detail in the defensive side of things.
How do you think the fan excitement and anticipation for Devin's first start will affect the club on the ice tomorrow?
I think any fan excitement affects the club and the team in a very positive manner. So, the more excited your fans get, especially in the building and in the moment, the adrenaline feeds right into the players. I can tell you that sitting on the bench and being a player myself, where when you have people engaged in what you're passionate about, and you feel that, and you hear the noise, and you feel that, the momentum swings and shifts of it's a surge of adrenaline. And when this building has erupted with that emotion, it's fed right through to the bench immediately. In
what ways was it beneficial to actually have a couple of practices?
Oh, lots of ways. People are, sick of me saying it, but we are young, and it's fact. So practices are really important, and they kind of bring a focus back together as you can get torn apart in this league and pulled apart at game after game after game, and practices bring you back together, and they bring the collective focus, zero it right back in. And with a younger group, to have practice, practice does that. In the absence of practice, you're hoping that other mechanisms do that, and that's where more experience comes in. You can do that without a practice and zero right back in. But when you go through drills and you can do drills that are your identity as a team, or what hit your objectives of how you want to move up and down the rink, and patterns of it, it is a significant part of where we are right now.
When Alex, you mentioned after the game last week, he told you to smile, and knowing his personality, I don't know if that's a surprise.
Before the game, he told me.
Before the game. But what does that illustrate to you? We all know his personality, but does that illustrate comfort to you? What does that, I guess, kind of show you about Alex? I guess.
Well, I'm not easy on these guys. I know it's, you don't get to see that, but we drive these guys. We're demanding. I'm not going to sit here and throw somebody under the bus in a press conference, ever. But that doesn't mean we're not demanding on these guys. So when a player does feel that much comfort to approach you, that's good. I want them to approach me, but I also have to give them news and say, hey, sometimes you're not pulling your weight. And every guy's heard that from me. But that doesn't mean they can't be open and have some casual dialogue and fun with it when appropriate. And we weren't playing real well. Alex came back really early from an injury and shouldn't have been back, but he wanted to help us, so he played at whatever percentage he was healthy. And so when he came before the game and said, "Are you ready to smile today?" and it was that moment was when I knew, okay, he's no longer consumed by his own injury, that he can't play his game, that he can get out and he feels good about his game finally, to the point he can see the rest of it, and he sees me being grumpy. And he said, "Hey, you ready to smile today?" And that I knew, this guy's going to play tonight. He's going to be ready to go, because he feels good enough to almost joke around. You can't joke around when you're concerned with, I might not get my job done, because of, in Alex's case, he wasn't fully healthy, and so he couldn't do the things that he normally does. And so that was an indicator to me that, wow, he must feel really good. So yes, I did smile right after that comment.